Train responds, I don't. They lose money on me. It's how I can gamble as a anti-gambling
It's just wild. It's the most astonishing business decision of the century. This massive cryptocurrency gambling website that is very, very valuable has decided to lose nearly $500 million, wasting it on me as a anti-gambling campaign as a casino. It's just... what a strange thing for them to have done. Yes, there was absolutely no return on investment. There was no conversion of anyone who was watching me to gamble there. But they kept spending money. 16 months, $360 million. I don't know what they were thinking. Those fools, those absolute fools. I say as I count my many money bags. If you're new here, or just new to the internet in general, you might be wondering who some of these figures are. Coffeezilla is basically a YouTube investigative reporter who looks up people who scam other people on the internet. He has caught a lot of celebrities, usually doing NFT scams, doing rug pulls, deflationary cryptocurrency scams, basically does the investigations of what takes place on the internet for crimes, monetary crimes, but digital monetary crimes usually. And then on the left, we have Trainwreck. He's an institution, one of the largest streamers on Twitch. I believe he's consistently in the top 10, who has found a new kind of blossoming of fame and viewership by doing non-stop crypto gambling streams. And man, oh man, does he ever do a lot of those streams. I think it's basically him and the previously in an abusive relationship Amaranth are the two people who stream ridiculous amounts. Like he will be gambling online for so long. It's just like, have you slept in the past day or something? Anyways, there's a crossover.
I'm here to settle the beef. Guys, as you know, I've been a good boy lately. No fights, just vegetarian, no beef. Until recently, I got in a little bit of a Twitter fight with the world's richest gambler, a man who supposedly made $360 million gambling and has nothing better to do than go back and forth with me. So I'm here to settle it today once and for all, because I admit I started off a little heated. I called him a dirtbag for making, basically his fortune off the backs of his viewers because he promoted to them gambling. And he
Fair, very fair. I like how this started out. This is already pretty good. Also, $360 million. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Like over $250 million you have made off cryptocurrency gambling. My word. How much money do you need? Like you can buy the mega yachts. You can buy the islands now. You're amongst the elite class. You're like, you're on your way to being a billionaire.
didn't like that. He came back at me with both gloves off. He said, I thought he, meaning I, was...
How much money did the casino make? Ah, see, there's the rub. How much money was it worth to them to be able to promote someone, to get him to such a point where he's making that much money?
As a credible source until I read this trash, referring to something I had just written.
Trash.
And to that, I just have to stop it right there and say, you used to think I was credible. Now, unfortunately for him, this is the biggest cope I hear all the time. I used to think Coffeezilla was credible, but then he talked about me.
Now, actually, one recent hit video came out by a guy called Coffeezilla, who I actually kind of respected and thought had a brain, but whatever.
I loved Coffeezilla.
By the way, as someone who's been watching Coffeezilla and Coffeezilla's takedowns for some time now, because I do enjoy the utter and complete, let's just say, embarrassment of a whole bunch of internet scammers. And like, these people are so famous. I just like, I don't get at what point do you, Matt Damon, do you need more money, Matt Damon? Is it worth the amount of respect that you have sacrificed from being like an institution in Hollywood and entertainment to being the crypto.com dude? Because that's what I'm going to remember you as now, the crypto.com dude. Yeah, the company that fucking just self-deflated, as did anyone else who put a lot of money into it, and they're probably hurting in a really bad way.
And then he talked about my thing. We hear it all the time, okay? Let's continue, though. Let's continue. Let's not hold it against him. He thinks I glamorize gambling. Now I know where he gets his news from. He also says, this guy clearly doesn't watch, nor has he ever watched me. Everything he's saying is the opposite of who I am and what I do. Now, what is this in reference to, okay? Well, it's a recent revelation that Trainwreck made. If you don't know, he's one of the biggest...
Coffeezilla takes down Serfs next. If he finds out about Serf Coin, it's not looking good.
Gambling streamers before Twitch banned gambling recently, and just 2 days ago, their policy change went into effect, meaning Stake's #1 employee, Trainwreck, he just got released from contract, right? He's no longer employed by them because he can't really promote them. And because of that, he decided that, I guess, he's going to come clean and just say, you know, what he made.
I'll release what I got paid since the beginning of my contract. I've been paid $360 million for 16 months of gambling.
How much did they make? What was the ROI on $360 million? How much money did they get from thousands and thousands of people who watched Trainwrecks? Thousands of his fans who just got super addicted to crypto gambling. How much did they get back from all those people? What was the average loss? I wonder.
There you go.
Wow. Every time I've heard that, and I've played that clip multiple times, it's still always.
I love this. I love how all of you are throwing down with the min. Like minimum with confidence, minimum 3 to 1, at least 2 to 1. I think there's probably a decent argument to be made that it would be significant. Let's say that.
A shocking amount of money. $360 million in 16 months promoting stake.com. Now, we'll talk in a second about whether this number's real.
Wow.
It's been a lot of talk. A lot of people don't think it's possible that this number's real, even for the numbers we've heard on stake.com, which people get paid millions a month to promote gambling on there. It's excessive even for that. But we'll talk about that in a second. The point is, I responded to that by saying, because he posted this clip, or somebody posted this clip of him saying this, I said, what a crazy thing to brag about, getting paid $360 million to gamble. Trainwreck only got paid that because he converted viewers into losers for the casino. What a dirtbag.
Again, very fair. Very fair. $360 million. Like, if he produced 500 million, 600 million, 700 million in profit for the casino, how many thousands of people who watch him? Thousands. We're talking thousands and thousands. How much did they each lose? Some people, it's reasonable to think maybe $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. Imagine losing $50,000 in online casinos because you got addicted by watching Trainwrecks.
Then say
100,000.
It's complicated, gambling's addictive, it has the highest rate of any addiction, and that people like Train glamorize degenerate gambling. And this is where I lost my spotless reputation with Train, okay? Because according to him, he doesn't glamorize gambling. He calls himself, and I quote,
Am I still getting emails from online casinos offering you to gamble? No, they slowed down. Maybe the cycle will start up. I still get NFT offers. I still, and like they always talk, they don't use the word NFT anymore. But by the third paragraph, you can always tell that it's NFTs. But it's always like, we have a outstanding new digital marketing technology that allows us to create moments in time digitally on the internet. And you're like, these are NFTs. These are NFTs, dog. I fucking smell this a mile away. And then like paragraph later, it's like utilizing blockchain. Yep, and knew it. Fucking knew it was NFTs. I saw this.
The anti-gambling gambler. I'm not kidding. And if you could tell me what that is, if you could tell me how you can be an anti-gambling gambler, perfect.
Oh, I hope you went through the lore of CoffeeZilla. So when he was getting called out by Hassan as well as Ethan Klein, which, by the way, huge news, everyone. The bridge has been built with Ethan Klein. He followed me on the Twitter. He liked like 3 of my tweets. No longer got a burnt bridge. We got a building of the bridges. It's good news, everyone. Big announcement. Yeah, huge news. Anyways, if you're unfamiliar with the Nor, they called out Trainwreck, and they called out Trainwreck and XQC saying, hey, by the way, it's really bad what you're doing. You have a sign-up promo code. You're converting your fans into gamblers, into cryptocurrency gambling, which cryptocurrency in and of itself is already gambling, but then to get them into cryptocurrency gambling with these highly addictive slot machines of which there is no oversight, because again, the casinos, they're not even held in the countries of origin. The servers are held in other places, like Curacao, apparently, something like, I don't know. They got the license from Curacao, and it's the most sketchy license ever. You shouldn't be doing this. They don't even have to do payouts in some instances because they, again, don't have a really strong governing body that can protect people and protect their money. It's really sketchy for you to take millions of dollars from them. You shouldn't do this. And his response was, oh, but I tell everyone not to gamble. Yeah, I say you should never gamble. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, well, that's a terrible defense, you know? Then I started watching other crypto gambling channels because there was a lot. He's not the only one. He's the biggest one, but he's not the only one. And they all started saying those same lines. Like there was a pattern of it. There was a woman who does the crypto gambling. I was just like, yeah, she does like some big win, and all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, but I just want to let you know, you shouldn't gamble. Never gamble. It's really, really bad. It's like you will lose money. It's terrible. Don't do it. I have an addiction. This is okay, but you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. But that's it. A script, yes, over and over and over. And then I was like, oh, okay, so we have a pattern here. Clearly this is part of not only, I'm sure, the moral defense you give yourselves. This is what you convince yourselves of. Like, oh, I'm not a bad person converting thousands of people into addicts. You know, I'm not doing that. What I am is I'm like a PSA as to why you shouldn't do this, especially when I win big and get that $1 million jackpot. That's definitely gonna have people being like, oh wow, this doesn't look like something that possibly could be lucrative instantaneously.
Professionally gambling for millions of dollars, 16 hours a day. You let me know, okay? But I do want to take him seriously for a second. That's actually why I'm making this video. Is it true?
And by the way, I should reiterate, that's just a theory, all right? That's just a theory, a Serfs theory, but it does seem to have a pattern.
Can not glamorize gambling while making hundreds of millions of dollars. Is that true? I wanted to kind of think about that for a second, because my initial thought was, you know, there are probably better and worse ways to do it, but you're always going to be the least dirty of the dirt bags, if that makes sense. It's never really you're never gonna feel good about it. But I wanted to go over, you know, the full case. I wanted to go over why Trainwreck TV calls himself the anti-gambling gambler. Because in some ways, it is true that unlike other streamers who used fake money, he claimed he used real money. Unlike other streamers who highlighted only their wins, Trainwreck would highlight his losses, or I think it's Trainwreck.
Do not gamble, idiots. You understand? If you watch the entire context of all my gambling over 15 months, you'll see it as 99.8% fucking losing.
You might say that, okay, that's positive. You know, I can acknowledge that what Steve will do it was doing on Roobet was probably worse than what Train was doing on Stake, because Steve will do it was just kind of faking everything. However, do you know who actually made more money for the casinos at the end of the day? Despite all the claims of being like this like woke anti-gambling gambler? Train, by a long shot. He is one of the top gambling streamers, getting paid the most for his gambling content, and we all know why that is. These business deals don't happen from nowhere. They don't just make up the numbers. Oh, you get 50 million, you get 5 million, you get 1 million. They're based on getting people in the door. You get paid because you get people to play. You can shuffle the numbers around, whatever, but you'll never get, your deal will get canceled if you're not pulling in the numbers. That's just the bottom line, okay? So the very fact that he says that I made $360 million, if that's true, he at least pulled in $360 million for the casino. That's basically that admission. And that's why I'm saying, wow, what a scumbag, right? So this is where I think as a streamer...
Oh, you fleeced your fans for thousands of dollars. Well, actually, millions of dollars at that point. Yeah, but I'm saying thousands of people to the tune of millions of dollars, because that's the ROI they're getting back.
No matter how based you are, you know, like Trains, you know, he puts in the top right-hand corner of his stream, like, don't gamble, you'll lose.
Okay, to be fair, this used to be a sign-up code. He used to get an additional amount of money. He made over $100,000 just on sign-up code references. So just so we're clear.
And then the other 95% of the screen is him gambling. I think no matter how much you do that, gambling 16 hours a day, you can't help but glamorize it. Why? Well, because the opposite of glamorizing something is being realistic, right? That's obvious. And showing the reality of gambling would be Train would gamble for about 10 seconds, spending $1,000 a spin and run out of money. Instead, he gets to gamble 16 hours a day or 8 hours a day, whatever he does, for an entire 16 months, and he makes money, makes millions of dollars, right? That is a glamorous picture of gambling. No matter how much you preach about, oh, guys, I'm just doing it and making millions. I don't want you to do it. Oh, please don't gamble. Don't gamble.
$360 million.
So no matter how much he talks about his losses, it can only be so real when he shows up the next day and gambles again. Now, I also want to quickly address the other side of this argument of personal accountability. Shouldn't people who gamble because they watch Trainwreck streams be accountable themselves? And yeah, to some extent, I think you should be. On the other hand, I only think you should take accountability when these streamers take accountability. because there's a whole other side to this. As much as people like Train want to say,
are you saying Ethan was beefing with you? I don't know. I have a theory. I could be totally wrong, but Ethan, before Ethan went down the Hassan arc, made this like really, really shitty tweet about like, you know, the potential. I think it was related to like gender affirming care was child abuse kind of stuff. And this is back before like he knew better. When he was kind of like more closer to Chetty, because he was hanging out with Jordan Peterson. I went super aggressively hard and responded to him in one of those tweets that actually started like doing numbers. And then I've just never heard a response from him ever to anything I've ever tweeted in any respect. So I assumed we were either muted, but that's just, again, it's a conspiracy theory. It's not based on anything confirmed. But I went very hard out of the gates, like extremely hard. It was far too hard.
that the problem is no one wants to take responsibility for their own actions.
Yeah,
He's
right.
the one who doesn't take responsibility for his own actions. He wants to be seen as some woke anti-gambling gambler, but also get to reap the rewards of promoting gambling and getting tons of people to gamble.
It's funny that he's calling Trainwreck woke in that regard, because that's how far this word has gone from its original, you know, like AAVE, like meaning. But at this point, it's like, I guess if he's, I mean, virtue signaling about how he's trying to stop people from gambling in some strange respect. But Train would hate that, because Train is super anti-woke. Trainwreck is like, you know, he hates wokeness. That's why he hates the left, and he hates cancel culture and all this kind of stuff. I think at this point, Trainwreck's like went so hard down the Gamba rabbit hole that like his original really big breakout as like a giant streamer was kind of appealing to men and talking about like Squad W and how like there's double standards, and we always talk about the double standards for women, but why don't we ever talk about the double standards for men and the ones that women get that have more advantages over us? And like, you know, I want to talk about all my you know, let's talk about them, bros, we're gonna fucking squad it. And like that whole shit became like a huge thing online for a long time. It was like, you know, the male feminism or whatever people were calling it at a certain point. If you go from that, as in like I care about the conditions of men and I want to like talk to them about how unfair their lives are and stuff like that, and I care about you boys, blah blah blah, to like I'm gonna fleece every last one of you to make millions and millions of dollars in this cryptocurrency thing we got going on here, like kind of ruins any, I don't know, genuine care that you actually appeared to have. Like even if it was misguided, even if it's like sexist, even if it's misogynistic, whatever that thing, it still seemed as if it wasn't like a grift. It was like, this is just my view and this is what I'm going to say and do. But if it's just like, I don't give a fuck about who watches me, I want to fleece them all for every last dime, well that's really different.
He's unwilling to just own the fact that he made a casino probably over $360 million. Like, if people can be accountable for losing their life savings, why can't you be accountable for what you did? Here's the deal. They have no problem taking accountability when it comes to taking their cut of the check, right? Like when Stake goes to him and goes, hey, here's your 20 million for the month for all these people you signed up. Trainwreck doesn't go, whoa, that wasn't me. That was their personal accountability. Nah, he's like, yeah, I promoted that. I got these guys in the door. You pay me my money. And fair enough, he did get them in the door. But as soon as he gets the slightest amount of social pushback and people are like, wow, that's actually pretty scummy that you do that for money, he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're accusing me of glamorizing gambling. It's like, yeah, you're paid to do that. You did a great job of it. Why can't he take personal accountability for that? That's sort of my whole problem with this, is like people want it only on one side. They want the guy who gambled to take personal accountability, but the guy who got him in the door, no problem over here. No, we have to ignore this guy, right? That's sort of my problem with this whole thing. I think Train tries to, dismiss this fact by saying that he really doesn't make stake.com that much money. This guy, he calls into question the whole claim of 360 million. He says 22.5 million per month. I call cap. Ain't no way he generates that much value per month. Train responds, I don't. They lose money on me. It's how I can gamble as a anti-gambling
It's just wild. It's the most astonishing business decision of the century. This massive cryptocurrency gambling website that is very, very valuable has decided to lose nearly $500 million, wasting it on me as a anti-gambling campaign as a casino. It's just... what a strange thing for them to have done. Yes, there was absolutely no return on investment. There was no conversion of anyone who was watching me to gamble there. But they kept spending money. 16 months, $360 million. I don't know what they were thinking. Those fools, those absolute fools. I say as I count my many money bags.
Gambler. Now, I don't know if he's like willfully delusional here or he's just lying. It's straightforward business, guys. If you believe this, it's ridiculous.
Super ego.
No business is going to offer you a deal if they are going to get a bad ROI. They're either expecting long-term profits or short-term profits. There's no other way they're gonna pay you. Okay, this is ridiculous.
And it would never get to the tune of 16 months to $360 million in net losses. They would it wouldn't get to that point. I would be astonished if it got to like $50 million. If like even $50 million, like, are you serious? Like, this is a very wealthy company, but make no mistake that it's still a large sum of money to just blow on this one streamer because no one's like, there's no oversight, not a single thing. Like, hey, how much have we wasted on this Trainwreck dude? He's just the anti-gambling gambler, and he's actually lowering the amount of people who come in and gamble at the casino because he's such a good anti-gambler. The message, it's so powerful. He just sits there, makes tons of money, and then it's like, don't do what I'm doing, and then people just listen to him. It's like he has the voice of God. What do we do?
He's trying to pretend like he's like got in the matrix underneath and like is secretly subverting stake.com and running them at a negative. No shot. He's making them millions of dollars a month, and he's getting paid for that because that's how this works. If he wasn't bringing in more money than he was making, they would have cut the deal off yesterday. Now, I do want to say, though, this isn't to say
even if his fans don't gamble, he's shown it's profitable to be a Twitch gambler, and then the others follow him and don't say those things. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, there's obviously going to be people pulled into it that aren't just like direct fans of his at first, because his numbers went up, right? He's like, he had higher view counts for Twitch gambling than he had for anything else he was doing. So it's just like, it was a combination of that obviously fuels him to be like, oh, I found something that gets me these massive numbers, 20,000 people watching me, and at the same time, I can make untold of amounts of money, like fucking just funny money. I can work my way to being a fucking billionaire. Like, on your way.
That this $360 million number is accurate. And I agree that this seems outrageous, although it could be real, a real number without being accurate. This could be the amount like he got after you factor in the amount he lost back to stake. Like, they could have factored in that he was going to gamble roughly 300 million of it over the lifetime of that contract. So we really don't know how much that breaks down, how much he was bringing home. But I think it's fair to say that he made a fortune off the backs of his viewers who gambled away a fortune while watching him. But anyways, I just wanted to show the hypocrisy of this whole like woke anti-gambling gambler thing where you can have it both ways of like, oh, I'm making millions of dollars getting people to gamble. But also, I'm like the good guy, though. I'm like the good one. I'm the good guy getting them in the door. Either way, you're getting people like hooked, right? That's the whole purpose of this whole thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. Personal accountability runs both ways. If you can say that someone's responsible for walking in the door, I can say you're a scumbag for showing them the door. Anyways, yeah, that's it. That's the beef. Bye.
Well, less of a beef and just like a very, very fair call out, because what the fuck? Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tal, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.